Nitai pada kamala koti chandra susitala. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are cooling like a million moons. The meaning of the auspicious marks on the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The conch, Shankha. This auspicious mark indicates that those who take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are always rescued from all sorts of distress. Just as during the Arti ceremony, the conch shell is used to hold water that is offered directly after the fire of the ghee lamp. Similarly, Nityananda's lotus feet hold transcendental water that soothes his devotees from the blazing fire of material miseries. Also, this symbol proclaims ultimate victory for the devotees, since the conch shell mark on his feet contains the entire ocean of material existence that may now be easily crossed. This mark also shows that those who resort to Nitai's feet become completely fearless. The flag, Dvaja. This mark announces that the devotees meditating on his feet, they give security and safe protection from all sorts of fear. The fish, Matsya. This mark shows that just as the fish cannot live without water, similarly, the surrendered devotees cannot live a moment without directly associating with his feet. It also shows that all the most cherished desires and longings of those who resort to Nitai's feet will be truly fulfilled. It also means that the mind is very fickle, just like a fish that wavers this way and that, and so only after much meditation do his feet finally come into the heart. It also indicates that Nitai's feet will come to live in one's heart only if that heart has been liquefied by soft, loving emotions. His feet do not thrive where it is dry. The lotus, the Kamala. This mark increases greed for nectar in the minds of the bee-like devotees who meditate on Nitai's feet. The lotus also signifies that just as the lotus grows out of water, similarly those whose eyes swell with tears upon holding the divine lotus feet of Srila Nityananda Prabhu to their hearts receive the highest benefit. This mark also shows the goddess of fortune. Sri Lakshmi Devi always resides at his feet, rendering humble service. It signifies that his feet are so soft that they can only be compared to lotus petals. Indeed, upon first glancing at his lotus feet, you would think you are directly seeing fresh lotus blossoms. It also reveals that just as a lotus blooms by day and contracts by night, similarly, those who remain steeped in meditation on their feet always feel the blossoming unfolding of brilliant sattvika ecstasies that dispel the darkness of ignorance. It also means that the bee of the devotee's mind cannot fly beyond the bondage of dry gyan and vairagya, knowledge and renunciation, without the temptation offered by the superior nectar of their lotus feet. The bow, Danu. This mark reveals that those who take shelter of Nitai's lotus feet will be perpetually free from all worries and difficulties. It also shows that those who are stupefied in the material world remain motionless like a target and do not come to his feet, whereas those who come to the ultimate goal of his feet remain there and never go back to the material world. Further, when the mind of the devotee meets the target of his feet, then prema condenses as a result and overflows as the tears showering from his eyes. The goad, Ankush. This mark indicates the meditation on Nitai's feet brings the elephants of the devotee's mind under control and keeps them on the right path. It also shows that those who stay on the path toward their feet become superior among men, just as one riding on top of an elephant travels far above the rest. The altar, Vedi. This mark proclaims that the sins of those who meditate upon his feet are burned up as if on the altar of sacrifice. Furthermore, it indicates that just as the universe is nourished by the Brahmanas offering fire sacrifices, similarly those who offer their minds in sacrifice to his feet stimulate universal nourishment that affects all creation. The half moon, Ardha Chandra. This mark symbolizes how his feet truly provide the desired objectives of the devotees. It signifies that even devatas like Lord Shiva have decorated their own head with soles of his feet. It also shows that devotees who likewise decorate their own head with his feet can become exalted like Lord Shiva. Just as the moon showers nectar with its cooling rays, similarly Nitai's lotus feet shower nectar upon the devotees, extinguishing the threefold material miseries, so that the mind of the devotees may reside at his feet. They bear his symbol of the moon upon his feet. Just as the moon is one, yet it destroys the darkness seen by many people simultaneously, similarly the Lord is one, and yet by his cleverness can deliver many souls at the same time. The half moon also indicates that since his toenails appear like the splendorous full moons, the real moon has shriveled up in shame and appears in a half form. The pitcher, Kalash. This mark shows that Nitai's feet hold a golden pitcher full of purely nectarian ambrosia to be freely consumed by the surrendered souls. Indeed, they will never be bereft of nectar, for this pitcher always remains full. This mark also indicates that his feet can pour out nectar that extinguishes the blazing threefold miseries of the separated devotees. The full pitcher is a symbol to show that no inauspiciousness can come near his devotees. Rather, his feet bring ripples of happiness emanating from divine auspiciousness. The disc, chakra. This mark cuts down the 6 enemies of the devotees: lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, and bewilderment. It indicates Teja Tattva, the principle of brilliance by which he destroys the darkness of sins from within his devotees' hearts. Sky, Ambar, Akash. This mark indicates that his feet are all pervading throughout the entire creation, both within and without all manifestations. It also shows that even though his feet are everywhere, they are unattached, just like the sky. The umbrella, Chhatra. This mark proves that those who take shelter of Nitai's feet are shielded from the incessant rainfall of material miseries. It also denotes that those who sit in the shade of his feet become exalted, just like the Maharajas, who usually have umbrellas held over their heads. The cow hoof, Gospada. This mark signifies that for those who have taken full shelter of uninterrupted meditation on his feet, the great ocean of worldly existence becomes very small and insignificant, like the water held in a calf's footprint, and is thus easily crossed over. The thunderbolt, the Raja. This mark reveals that meditation on Nitai's feet smashes to pieces the mountain of his devotees' karmic reactions to past sins. It also indicates that whoever holds on his feet becomes exalted as Lord Indra. The rose apple, Jambu Falpala. This mark is indicative that his feet are the most worshipful objects for all those who are residents of this region of Jambudweep, the island of Rose Apple. The club, Gada. This mark is to show that Nitai's feet are capable of chastising the elephant of sinful lust. It further indicates that for whoever takes shelter of his feet, all their ancestors will also receive benefit. The spear, Shakti. This mark assures that those who wish to have the miserable bonds of the mundane sphere cut, and who take shelter of Nitai, his feet immediately appear to slash all entanglements and difficulties. It also indicates that he is Shaktiman, or the natural possessor of all divine potency, whereas his servants are not endowed with separate, independent power, but are completely dependent upon him. The flower, Pushpa. This mark shows that the divine fame of his feet spread everywhere, just like the fragrance of a flower. It also shows that his feet are not hard, but soft as flower petals. And it means that just as every fruit comes into being after the plant blooms, similarly all spiritual fruits come into being after blossoming at the soles of his feet. The creeper, Bali. This mark symbolizes how intelligent persons hold onto the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda firmly, just as a creeper firmly grasps whatever is ascending. The plow, Hala. Balaram is Nityananda Prabhu. His lotus feet are as cool as the cooling effects of thousands and millions of moons. Balaram has a plow in his hand and Krishna a flute. In the beginning, cultivation, karshan, is needed. Then all the nasty weed-like things will be rooted out. A field should be cultivated properly with the plow of Balaram. Then the field of the heart, Hriday Kshetra, becomes fertile, and the seed of the devotional creeper, Bhakti Lata, will be sown. After proper cultivation by the plow of Nityananda Balaram, when the land is fertile, then the seed should be sown. Then, when one develops prema bhakti, he will be attracted by Krishna's flute. The flute means akarshana, attraction. Karshana, akarshana, cultivation, and enchantment. This ends the description of the lotus-like feet of Nityananda Prabhu and the symbols that reside there.